Alrighty guys, welcome to the second installment of the noob tutorial series for Kritika Online. This is going to be rallying off top 10 tips that you will need to know as an absolute beginner in the game, so let's get started. Number 1, you have a whole bunch of gear you get from your dead enemies. Once you get the good stuff, salvage the rest of the crap in the salvaging machine. Why? Because you will want mats later on, and even though they don't offer a crazy amount, it's better than selling them or just destroying them, because you'll get 1 gold for selling them and nothing for destroying them. So there you go. Number 2, start fishing. If you've not jumped on this bandwagon already, do it immediately. Why? Because fishing is an absolute godsend. It will make the game a lot easier to play. You will get a bunch of gold from doing it for other reasons that I'll explain maybe in another video, but it's important nonetheless. If you have not done this already, get started. Number 3, don't waste hammers on crap. Alright, if you don't know what hammers are for, they're basically there for stability, increasing the stability of an item. Every time you enhance any weapon or piece of gear, you will drop its stability by a certain amount of points depending on which level you're on. Once it reaches 0, you can't upgrade it anymore, so use hammers to bring it back up. Don't waste these on really low level gear. That's not worth it. Don't do it. You're gonna hate yourself later on, especially the legendary ones. The common ones I guess you can get away with, but I still wouldn't use them on the gear. So yes, don't do that. Number 4, don't do insane difficulty dungeons when you're leveling up a character. Why? Because it's a waste of time. Yes, it gives you more XP, but it'll take you 4 times longer to complete and probably cost you a crap ton of resurrection stones. So don't do that, just do hard. There you go. Number 5, don't waste mats on legendaries early on. It's not worth it. You'll probably be fine with the gear that gets dropped. If you're gonna craft anything, just craft blues, but do not craft legendaries in general. Just use whatever gear you get, and you should be fine if you're doing hard difficulty dungeons like I told you in the previous tip. Number 6, if you were paying attention and you heard number 4, you would realize that I told you not to do insane difficulty dungeons when you're leveling up a character. That completely changes when you're trying to get elite gear at the very end of the game. Why? Because the higher the difficulty, the better for getting drops. It increases your drop rate. If you do anything less, it's generally a waste of time because you're obviously getting a lower drop rate every time you do the dungeon, and as a result, you're less likely to get the piece of gear you're looking for. So yeah. Number 7, if you follow number 4, you'll be fine here, but basically, do not waste resurrection stones, especially if you're on your first ever character. Why? Because once you run out, you are screwed, and you will have to completely leave the dungeon or pay money to get more resurrection stones. So yes, don't do that. Number 8, use experience boosts when you're leveling up. It makes it a lot faster and it'll definitely be a great help, especially end game. If you're going to use XP boosts, use them toward later on in levels like level 59 or 60 or 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Don't waste them on lower levels. Number 9, I have a promo code in front of you. Use it. Why? Because it will give you a bunch of goodies, including 3 days elite, which increases your XP for every monster you kill and gives you a bunch of XP boosts that will help you down the line, which goes into number 8, which, yeah, you're welcome. Quick note about number 9, as long as you've never used this promo code, you should be able to use it, but if you have before, you won't be able to. Finally, we arrive at number 10. Create multiple alts and level them up to level 70. Why? Because end game you will have dungeons that are amazing, but you need to run them a whole bunch of times to get a bunch of really good gear. And the more runs you have available to you, the better the chances you'll get that gear drop that week. Those dungeons don't reset until Wednesday, so it's not a daily dungeon reset like other ones. This one will take a whole week, so that's why having more alts at level 70 that are up to that point is better. Alright guys, that was my top 10 tips for beginners. I hope you enjoyed that video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do all those amazing good things, and I see how I cared about your time, so I made this very quick. Alright, enjoy. Bye!